history. As the last note of the chant escaped the blessed chapel, a great silence fell, and with it came an even greater disquiet. The silence stretched on and on. These were men used to silence, but this seemed extreme even to them. And still they stood with their long black robes and white tops, motionless, waiting. These were men also used to waiting, but this too seemed extreme. The less disciplined among them stole glances at the tall, slim, elderly man who had been the last to file in and would be the first to leave. Dom Philippe kept his eyes closed. Where once this was a moment of profound peace, a private moment with his private God, when vigils had ended and before he signaled for the Angelus, now it was simply an escape. He closed his eyes because he didn't want to see. Besides, he knew what was there, what was always there, what had been there for hundreds of years before he arrived and would, God willing, be there for centuries after he was buried in the cemetery. 2 rows of men across from him, in black robes with white hoods, a simple rope tied at their waist, and beside him, to his right, 2 more rows of men. They were facing each other across the stone floor of the chapel, like ancient battle lines. No, no, he told his weary mind, I mustn't think of this as a war or a battle, just opposing points of view, expressed in a healthy community. Then why was he so reluctant to open his eyes, to get the day going, to signal the great bells that would ring the Angelus to the forest and the birds and the lakes and the fish and the monks, to the angels and all the saints and God? The throat cleared. In the great silence it sounded like a bomb, and to the abbot's ears it sounded like what it was, a challenge. With an effort he continued to keep his eyes closed. He remained still and quiet, but there was no peace anymore. Now there was only turmoil inside and out. He could feel it vibrating from and between the rows of waiting men. He could feel it vibrating within him. Dom Philippe counted to 100, slowly. Then opening his blue eyes, he stared directly across the chapel to the short, round man who stood with his eyes open, his hands folded on his stomach, a small smile on his endlessly patient face. The abbot's eyes narrowed slightly in the glare. Then he recovered, and raising his slim right hand, he signaled, and the bells began.
Oh, thank you.